It is a whirlwind once you are chosen to be flag bearer. There's a lot of media surrounding it, but it is an incredibly great honor. And I'm reasonably sure one of the reasons that I was nominated was because of the fact that I was 38 years old, it was my 5th Olympic team, and not only that, my athletic career mirrored the evolution of women's events being added to the Olympic Games. I ran the first ever women's 1500. When I started running, the longest race for women in the Olympics Games was 800 meters. And then again, at my first Olympics, the longest race was 1500 meters. That was the first ever 1500 meters in 1972 in Munich. And then again, I was able to participate in the first ever women's 10K and then the marathon in '92. So we saw a great change for women athletics over the course of my athletic career. So I think that had a little to do with it as well. I have to tell you, that was, for me personally, an out-of-body experience. I was standing there waiting to take my first step onto the track, and a gentleman looked at me and said, "Smile, you're on American TV." And then all of a sudden it was like, hold that flag out there and be perfect. And that's all I could think of, was be perfect, because I was just merely holding on to the symbol of the American people. And it wasn't me, it was the American people that were out there. So you're walking down, and I knew what the team was going to do as far as honoring the king in Barcelona. They were going to tip. We had hats and scarves and everything else, and they were all going to tip their hats. And I didn't know what I was supposed to do, because I was holding onto the flag, but I thought I need to do something to honor the king. And so I remembered all of those parades I attended when I was a kid and watched the bands do their eyes right when they went across the review stand. So I did an obvious eyes right gesture, and they actually mentioned that on the television coverage, that she did an eyes right. But it was just an incredible out-of-body experience, and very great honor. But where the emotion came into it, and the very personal experience for me, and I get very emotional when I talk about this, it was a truly great honor. But the cameras were off, and I rounded the turn, and I looked up in the stands, and I saw a bunch of American flags waving back down at me, little American flags. It was all the Americans sitting in the stands that had tickets to open ceremonies. And it just was the most incredible feeling that you can possibly imagine, the most patriotic feeling I've ever felt in my life. And just made me feel very proud of our country, and proud of what we were doing there at the Olympic Games. So that was a very personal moment that I experienced as a flag bearer. I don't know if others have.